Hey everyone, Red Rebel Jeff Jones here. So in this video, I want to talk about the Candace Owens investigation into the murder of Charlie Kirk. I'm going to talk about some of the theories she has come up with, and I'm also going to go into why I think her investigation has quite a few flaws in it. So first off, what are her claims? Now there's a lot of them, so I'm not going to go into all of them. First was that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by those closest to him, specifically those around him in Turning Point USA, who colluded to assassinate him. She also claims that the US military, the Israeli government, and Mossad, the French government, and the Egyptian government, through aircraft following Kirk around, as well as the Trump administration, all colluded to murder Charlie Kirk. That's a lot of people to know about this particular mm, assassination plot. I I'll get into it, but that's one issue I have with that. And also those claims that there were widespread financial fraud within TP USA. So first off, I want to go into some of the reasons why I'm suspicious of her claims. The main reason is that her claims are not telling a story. And this is important for to understand something like this because when you look at theories of why something happened, how exactly did all these people collude to come up with the plot to kill him? What was the plot? What are the details of this plot? It doesn't give any details around that. So trying to make a story out of her claims is pretty much next to impossible. And that's why I've been finding it very difficult to believe them. Evidence-based claims always come together to make a story that you can follow. Now, if we take all of her claims regarding those involved, who she claims were involved, different people, different organizations, different governments, if we take all of that, all of her claims as true, what is the specific story that it tells when you put them all together? There doesn't seem to be. Let's go through some of those claims. But I can go into the Egyptian Air Force one a bit because I know a little bit about that. First off, they're all the same type of aircraft, Dassault 7X Falcon aircraft. Okay, what's so special about Dassault? No, they're all around Wichita, Kansas, which is important. Is there any connection between Dassault aircraft and Wichita, Kansas? That could explain why these aircraft are there. Yep. Wichita, Kansas is the main maintenance hub for Dassault in the US. They have an agreement with the University of Wichita to do the maintenance on their aircraft. That probably explains it in and of itself. Also, her claims that they were around Erica Kirk at the time she was in Kansas is a bit doesn't really add up because she's not being really specific about it. Her timescales are particularly long. The aircraft have to be there within plus or minus 3 days before and after. So it's a 6 day period. That's a long time. If they were an hour period, you might have a bit more of an argument there. And also, Near Erica Kirk is also roughly defined. It's 50 to 100 kilometers between her and the airport where they land. That's a big distance. There's probably other people in Kansas that go to in and out of Kansas where aircraft like that probably coincide as well. Okay. And also, there was actually a YouTuber a couple of days ago that basically went through every single flight log through flight radar and using her times and locations and compared them to the actual locations. Most of them weren't actually in the US at all at the times Candace claims the aircraft were. So she's either wrong or she's lying about that. Now, the evidence that Candace is putting forward, now she claims she has a lot more, but she never presents it, which is always something to find suspicious. When you claim to have a load of evidence, but you're not revealing it and you're not giving it to authorities who can use it. If you can only trust me with the information, that's kind of how she's presenting it. But a lot of the evidence that that she's given out is people saying things to her. Even if all those people are honest people that actually saw all these things, eyewitness accounts don't prove anything. And I know this from researching air accidents, particularly. I think it's also rather interesting that she she's put in a lot of people as part of this plot to assassinate Charlie Kirk. No, I think it's fair to say that there would be a lot of evidence, strong evidence, constantly leaking out if this many people knew about it. But there isn't. And I think it goes back to a phrase I like from Benjamin Franklin. Three can keep a secret if two are dead. All these different people knowing about and being part of the plot to assassinate him, it doesn't add up. Someone would say something. Another issue I kind of have with her claims of evidence is that she always claims evidence is just around the corner, that the golden bullet of evidence that'll prove everything is just around the corner. Yet it never comes. And it's actually a lot. It's pretty much the same game that the mainstream media played with regard to the Trump Russia collusion hoax. They constantly claimed that the golden bullet of evidence to implicate Trump colluding with Russia was just around the corner. It was just a couple of days away. When they were really just clasping at straws. Now, her main argument for implicating a lot of these people, like especially the Trump administration and especially within TPUSA, is because they've gotten benefit from his death. And she's portrayed anyone that's benefited or even could have benefited from his death as in some way complicit in it. But that does raise a question. If that's her standard, why isn't she implicated in that? Because her podcast has gotten a lot bigger. I think is it the number one podcast? Political podcast? So she's benefited massively from it. Using her standards, shouldn't she be considered a suspect in being involved in his assassination? No, I don't believe she was involved. I don't believe TPUSA were involved, or any of the people she's claiming to be involved to be involved. Just because someone benefited from someone's death, it doesn't mean that they were involved in it. Because I've watched a lot of her videos, and taken in her claims and given them some careful thought, it does come across as if Candace is actually suffering, I will say badly, from two specific biases: proportionality bias and confirmation bias. Proportionality bias is the tendency to for to think that an event has a proportionate cause. Big events having big causes and small events having small causes. The murder of Charlie Kirk is a very big event, 100%. So the idea of a lone gunman, which is what it appears to be, doesn't seem to be a proportionate cause of it. Although I think Matt Walsh laid out all the evidence perfectly well. It kind of, when you look at it that way, it's, I think the claim that Tyler Robinson is the killer is very, very strong. I do think another issue Candace is suffering with at the moment is confirmation bias. Now, I think this is a common one. But I think a lot of people will know this. Confirmation bias is the tendency to favor information that confirms something we already believe, as well as the tendency to disregard information that disproves something we already believe. And I think particularly that's what's really getting Candace. I think it's interesting, like, because those two biases seem to be playing a big role in a lot of her claims and kind of her beliefs around them. Now, and this is actually one of the reasons why I waited to do this video, because I was actually ready to record it a couple of days ago. But then Candice, like Turning Point USA had a live stream ready to go. They had it planned, ready set on the 15th until a meeting was organised between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens. I do think all the evidence was kind of laid out there, but well, as much of the evidence as could be laid out. Which is why and people have gone at Candace in her stream after that meeting. She's not as no she's nowhere near as confident about her claims as she used to be. She still claims them, but she's clearly, her confidence in them has clearly been knocked quite a bit. So I'd say there was a lot of strong evidence that she was presented with that she couldn't really argue with. Especially an issue I had with kind of her claims that she couldn't do it in person with the live stream. Because they said, like, we're doing a live stream to basically debunk all the stuff. If she wants to come in person and be involved, 100% she can join us. And she originally, before even then, she said, I'll meet you to talk about these. Name the time, name the place. Now, when you say name the place, that tells you you're going to be there in person. Then when they said, okay, the 15th, oh, I can't do those days. I can't do that day. And there was claims that like she had a family thing. I think she said that she had a family engagement on that day. And some online was saying that it was her husband's birthday, even though his birthday is in July. So yeah, that didn't make sense. But yet she was able to do this in-person meeting with Erica Kirk on the 15th. And also, like, this idea, like, because she got quite angry that they didn't formally organize with her beforehand with the live stream. Now, I do think they were already going to do the live stream and said, if you want to join, no problem. But here's the thing: Candace has been making these claims for months now. And she never invited Turning Point to go on her show to respond to her claims. So there's a question: why should they? Now, there's one main problem I have with her claims, and I don't think she even realizes it. It's putting a very serious stain on the person Charlie Kirk was. And this is one of the issues that's been really irritating me about her claims. Let's talk with the millions being defrauded from TPUSA. He must have been either a very incompetent leader if millions were being defrauded from his organization when he was signing off on all the expense reports, all the financial reports, and all that, and was getting it independently audited every year. He must have been seriously incompetent at his job if he didn't know or was part in the financial corruption. Or if he didn't know, he was incompetent, or he was part of the financial corruption himself, which I don't think it was. I don't think there is actually financial corruption. I think, as far as I'm aware from what I've seen, I don't think there's much proof of that. So many people around him were that untrustworthy that they would collude in killing him. He must have had very poor judge of character. Surround himself, to allow himself to be surrounded by all these seriously untrustworthy people. But hang on, Candace worked with Turning Point USA. Wouldn't that wouldn't that poor judge of character kind of extend to her as well? He also made a claim that the reason Charlie was speaking out in support of Israel was that he was being paid off by them. That meant, and she actually said once that he wasn't saying anything unless he was being paid to say it. But it's like, that means he had absolutely no integrity as a speaker. But also, that meant, like, he didn't have that integrity when she worked with him. So I wonder, does she have the same lack of integrity as he does? As he did? I have questions about that. He claimed that she loved Charlie. And yet she's destroying his character. Yet she claims to be fighting so hard to get justice for him. That doesn't add up. That's frustrating too, because it's one that just bewilders me, really, because she's putting such a serious stain on his character that it's with theories that just don't stand up. No. Are there some serious questions? Some legitimate questions that need to be asked about that day? 100%. One being, why the hell wasn't that roof covered? I think a serious investigation needs to be had on that. There's also claims of the bullets not being able to do that much damage. And looking at the video she showed, it showed a guy shooting the same type of gun into a ballistics gel, head and shoulders. And basically, the neck just basically explodes. Well, two things. First off, she didn't do it from, well, three things actually. She didn't do it, the guy that did that test didn't do it from a high angle like it was with Charlie Kirk. He didn't have a spine in it, so it wasn't going through a bone to get out. And also, ballistics gel is the average density of a person. It's not. It doesn't replicate exactly what would happen. That's why when the MythBusters used it, like with stuff like that, especially around the neck, they'd put in veins or they'd put in like I think they used a pig spine was one of the common things they'd do. They'd put a pig spine into it to simulate a human neck. But this guy, I think he had like a fake skull in it, but he didn't have a neck in it, a spine in it. So meant there would be less resistance to it. Is there some concerns with how Erica has dealt with running Turning Point USA whilst grieving the loss of her husband and trying to support their kids on her own. I think so. I don't like. She's definitely not doing a good job as he did. I think it's fair to say. I don't think she's done that bad a job. No, does she need good bit more support? I think so. She has definitely struggled. I think the best way forward is to support her with it, not tear her down. When it comes to looking at the evidence for this, I do think that Tyler Robinson is the man responsible and that he did it on his own. Now, am I open to evidence that tells a different story? 100%. But that evidence isn't being shown as it claims to be existed yet. We haven't seen any of it really. So you can't conclude on evidence that you don't have. And I think the evidence does really show Tyler Robinson is the man responsible. Also, I just kind of thought about it. I think it's also interesting the fact that Tyler Robinson's defense team haven't even contacted Candace Owens for her evidence. Because you think that would be handy to defend him. And yet they haven't given her a show. And she's even said that. It's like, it's weird not even Tyler Robinson's defense has contacted me about this. I guess the reason why they haven't contacted you about that, Candace, is because I think they can kind of even tell that your claims are BS. And also, I think the fact that Nick Fuentes is he that reliable? From what I've seen, he's a bit sketchy, I think. But I think the fact that even he is calling her out on her bullshit is kind of is kind of telling you something. So it's an interesting one, 100%. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I would love to hear them. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you like the content that I make. I think the theories around the murder of Charlie Kirk, it isn't helping. I do kind of, I do think it's just Candace. I think it's Candace just trying to get views and clicks. I also think Candace is in a bit of a sticky situation at the moment, especially around the whole Bridget Macron lawsuit, which she's not going to win. Like, even Piers Morgan kind of brought that up. It's like, you're not going to win that, Candace. And it's like, oh, yes, I am. It's like, she's really confident she's going to win that, yet publicly she's really confident. But I think it's kind of clear that I don't think, personally, I don't think to herself, I think she isn't that confident. Charlie would have wanted his movement to continue. I think the best way to do that is to support it and support Erica, push his vision forward.